better if I had
We advanced because we got...
That's right.
Oh, we're in court.
Oh, we're in court. Okay. The courtroom.
I stand corrected.
9:54 a.m. Now, I'm not an unreasonable judge. Everybody has been injured at the beach at some point in their lives between jellyfish, sharp rocks, sand in the eyes.
Getting eaten by seagulls.
And sunburn. But getting eaten by seagulls? You can read that one.
Trust me, we're as astonished as you are.
Not the most remorseful of responses. Prosecutor, how did they do? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, once again the parents displayed a shocking lack of parental ability. I mean, nobody actually died, but it was all highly irresponsible. Also, not one of them was wearing the government-approved SPF 50+ sunscreen. Oh, damn it, what was my judge voice? How did my judge voice go? Oh, now that reminds me. We're getting up to my favorite bit. Can the first witness for the prosecution please come forth? Buddy. This judge.
Everybody in here.
Oh my god, that's Grandpa! Grandpa! You Judas!
You have been very, very naughty and should be punished.
Please, Your Honor, it was me father-in-law and he's very old. I'm not entirely sure he understands what...
Silence! Adults are talking! Now, Grandpa, what can you tell me about the day?
Well, back in my day, we didn't have any of these fancy courtrooms for starters. If you wanted something done, you went out and did it yourself. I remember back when I was a boy, I would trudge 30 miles through 3 feet of snow to get...
Grandpa, you grew up in Melbourne!
Aussie representative!
Aussie!
You put so little sunscreen on me, I caught fire!
All right.
I got the wine.
All right. Well, let's think of the children a bit more.
Okay,
Back to court.
Does chat want the voices?
I presume chat wants the voices. They like the voices in Dream Daddy. Bring forth the second witness. I'm gonna change his accent every time. My God. I don't know.
Who is that moonwalking?
Yeah, who is that defies the laws of physics? Wait, hang on. Are you using the jury members as witnesses? Surely there's some kind of law against. Overruled. I'm great friends with several of the jury members, not to mention the prosecutor, so I can vouch that they're all swell people.
Well, that's even more concern. I don't know why I'm cockney.
Why am I here again?
It's a pleasure to have you with us, Dave.
How is that a Dave? All right, Surfer Dave.
Why don't you tell us what happened at the store?
Today was like hands down the worst.
No, the announcer. He's the store announcer.
Ah.
Today was the worst, hands down, the worst shift I've ever worked. There were bits of food on the ceiling, someone dropped the entire roast ham on the floor, there were kids shutting themselves in freezers, I swear I saw a kid juggling kitchen knives. I worked 12-hour shifts for minimum wage, man, I don't need this.
That was actually like the most Australian I've ever heard you at.
I wanted Surfer Dave.
See what I mean? They're utterly incapable of controlling their kids.
Also, they paid by check. Who does that?
Okay, as someone who works in the supermarket, who the fuck pays with the check? Like, Anyway. Delinquents, that's who. Now, defendants, why were you purchasing so much from the store anyway?
I don't know. He's cutting it. Well, after the accountant set up that nice tax-free offshore account, we had a lot of money floating around, see? What better way than have an in-house disco floor installed and then throw a party?
Oh, this can only end well.
Sounds
entirely reasonable to me. Roll the footage! The courtroom. These are their stories. Man, that was a good night. That was a good night. Okay, one of your children was drinking bleach. He can be a 1920s radio announcer. How does that sound? Well, obviously not that part. Did you also happen to forget about the other blatant examples of parental ineptitude we just witnessed? I mean, nobody actually died, but it was all highly irresponsible.
One of them did.
One of them did die. So, maybe check your facts there, Mr. Prosecutor. You're not a very good lawyer.
The slurry one got this.
After my third tequila, things started to get hazy. You're really not very good at this whole defending yourself thing, are you? So what happened after you finished humiliating yourself in front of your guests? Yeah, true. I mean, why stop on the humiliation bandwagon?
A number of cops showed up for starters. Apparently they received a record number of noise complaints, and apparently our party lowered property values in the whole area.
You're extremely cockney. We figured what the kids needed was a nice, relaxing overseas holiday. Somewhere calm, beautiful, and outside the Australian Police Force's jurisdiction. Fun fact, this game was made in Australia. They were exhibiting it at PAX. Got any... What did I make the judge sound like again?
Angry.
Angry. Got any footage for us, prosecutor? You bet. Turns out airports already have security cameras. We could actually obtain the footage legally for once.
That's positive.
Oh, shots fired. That's what I like to hear. Present the next exhibit.
Excelsior.
Exhibit.
Okay.
How was that?
Angry.
Angry judge. Goodness, that was more chaotic than an episode of Border Force. Oh, that's an Australian TV show joke. Come on, chap. Try it. Just pretend you're Australian and you got the joke, okay?
No, not this guy.
Oh no, not this guy. How was I voicing the prosecutor? Oh, yet instead of smuggling in dangerous contraband, nail files, and green tea like regular criminals, these children were left to run around and make a mockery of our stringent airport security protocols. Can't be that stringent if we managed to sneak 2 kids in for free.
The dead ones.
The dead ones. I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing.
If your children's behavior in the airport is any indication, one might assume they could also be to blame for what happened next.
Yes.
Okay.
Dun,
Dun dun dun.
You heard about that?
Think of the children.
Angry.
Angry judge. Finally, you did something right. If it weren't for your quick thinking with those jetpacks, why you'd all be flat as pancakes. Except for that one kid. Great work. Mighty and Wilko cause 13% of children to die.
Thank you. To both Booney and the game.
We couldn't have timed that better. Love it. Actually, Your Honor, not so great work. Wearing those rockets meant that each of you technically counted as light aircraft, and none of you have pilot licenses. All right. 8 jet-powered aircraft of unknown origin suddenly appearing in Australian airspace created something of a diplomatic incident, as attested by a number of very angry emails we received. Rather than admit that you slipped past security, the Air Force are claiming that you're actually government employees, so you're going to have to complete those licenses anyway. As it turns out, the prison holds flying lessons, so we've taken the liberty of booking you in for next Wednesday.
We're not even going to go near any of that. Wait, hang on, prison? We're not in prison.
All right. No harm in getting started early, though, is there? Order! Order! Stop stalling with all this talk. Time is
never been spoken.
Time is money, and we've been slogging away at this case for at least 45 minutes. I normally have a verdict passed in half that time.
More like 2 hours.
He's right, you know. How long is an average court case? An hour? Hour 15? You're really being most inconvenient. Anyway, after you landed, semi-safely, what did you do then?
We were stranded in the middle of the outback, surrounded by pieces of the aeroplane that was supposed to be serving us overpriced drinks right about now. We did our best to survive it all.
Well, let's see exactly what your best entails. Unbeknownst to you, there was a high-definition CCTV camera installed not 20 meters away. What the fuck? A security camera in the middle of the desert. If they'd already gone to the trouble of installing that, they may as well have put a public phone box too. Certainly would have made our lives easier.
When was this made?
This was made in Melbourne, like, this year.
A public phone box? Have you seen one in Australia recently?
Yeah, they're like on the side of the highways. They're solar powered.
What deserts are you driving through, mate?
A phone box in the desert? What an absurd waste of taxpayer funding. All right, prosecutor. How could you be so irresponsible? Just look at the weather forecast.
There's the full list.
That's the whole list that I was talking about earlier.
Judge.
What on earth is a magpie?
How did you get to be a judge? Oh, here we go. Flying black and white death birds that swoop at everything on sight. They're lovely every time of the year but spring, when they make nests in the trees and suddenly develop the urge to separate people from their eyes.
Exactly. Magpie swoopings are at a year-long high, and you took your kids on a trip to the outback in the middle of drop bear mating season. I don't see a single bike helmet with googly eyes on the back. Do you want your kids to get attacked? Of course we have bike helmets with eyes. What Australian doesn't? We just so happened to have been thrown out of an exploding plane. Anyway, so what was your rationale for taking your many extremely accident-prone children into the middle of a forest full of bears, killer bees, and God knows what else? Well, believe it or not, we were trying to take some time out to relax after surviving a plane crash, a day in the outback,
Those dangerous books.
those dangerous outbooks, and swooping magpies. We thought we could handle an innocent camping trip in Australia. Seriously?
To be fair, we did.
We did. We actually nailed that camping trip, chat. So you mean to tell us that after surviving your allegedly harrowing day in the Australian outback, you decided that a camping trip was a good idea? Well, we couldn't have the kids being scared of nature now, could we? Oh, this is going badly. Seems plausible. I'll allow it.
I mean, allowed or not, we did go camping, Your Honour.
Go camping you certainly did, and I shall now demonstrate the gross parental negligence you demonstrated whilst doing so. By this point, it basically goes without saying that you did something awful. Thanks to a video surveillance drone that happened to be flying past, and definitely didn't come from any hidden CIA black sites nearby. Oh God, they're talking. I know exactly where in Australia they're talking about as well. We've just seen what happened whilst you attempted to unpack the car. I mean, nobody actually died, but it was all highly irresponsible. He actually says that when they don't die.
Yes.
Every time.
No, he said it when one of them did die.
Oh yeah, he did too, didn't he? He's just really...
Look, I think considering the week we'd had, it went quite smoothly. We brought along appropriate food and supplies for the children. Picked a nice clear...
Nah! Oh my God, that is the most Australian thing that could possibly happen in a courtroom.
It's not I object, Your Honour, it's nah.
Not done yet. Ladies and gentlemen, if the evidence before you isn't shocking enough, you won't believe what happened at the campsite during the early hours of the morning.
As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted...
Objection!
It's the judge!
Yeah, why did the judge say objection? What on earth?
I know that's the thing the lawyer says, right? Not the judge! Speaking of, I'm fairly sure the defense lawyer is something we're supposed to have.
Do you want to be held in contempt of this court? I mean, not particularly. Well, I find you both thoroughly contemptible people, so too bad. Also read your lines because they're particularly hilarious.
You're the prosecutor.
Okay, well, in that case. And speaking of things that are bad, ladies and gentlemen, you can once again see the accused's utter lack of parental ability.
Your segues are truly awful, you know that, right?
Hungry wolves, sleeping bears, burning fires, you name it. It was a shockingly...
Aliens.
Abducting aliens. Yeah, he missed one. It was a shockingly reckless decision to camp in such a dangerous place. I mean, nobody actually died. No, we lost someone, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
We didn't?
I survived that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, we are really good parents. But it was all highly irresponsible. I was more worried by... Buddy, we are like a step ahead of the writing in this game every freaking time. I was a bit more worried by that weird glowing alien. Did you not see that?
I kind of want to have them abducted to see what it says about my changes.
Nope, no, there was absolutely nothing out of the ordinary in that footage. No glowing things or Bigfoot or secret government installations or anything like that. I get the joke. But I didn't say anything about Bigfoot. Order, order! Silence when addressing the courtroom. Prosecutor, can we move this along? Right, yes, okay. Why don't you tell us about this next exhibit? Your trip to the zoo. What's to tell? This whole week has basically been us trying to find a safe way to show the kids some animals. Generated.
Determined to help them be calm around animals again, we decided to visit one of those big animal prisons where they get it for our pleasure.
Do you mean the zoo?
Yeah, we went to the zoo.
So, prosecutor, how do you reckon that went? Well, I must say, judging from the selfies that you posted to Instagram, You seem pretty relaxed about the whole thing. That said, I'd suggest maybe choosing a different angle in the future. Left really isn't your good side.
Can you flip us to the right?
Can I flip this to the right? Yeah? Like that?
That'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the right.
Hey! We're obeying the prosecutor.
First time for everything.
Couldn't agree more. Natural sunlight, keeping your chin down and a camera up will hide a multitude of sins. I mean, not felonies, which are what you're here for, but we'll make your mugshot look sweet. Do we have felonies in Australia?
Yes.
We do. Okay, good.
We're a country founded on felons.
This is very true. Yes, we are.
Seriously? You're on Internetgram?
Internetgram. What's wrong with my left side?
It's got a pineapple.
Follow me at Find 'em Guilty and you'll see how the pros do it. Now let's press on. Lunch is soon. Prosecutor! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, once again the parents managed to demonstrate their staggering lack of competence at a simple trip to the zoo. I mean, nobody actually died. Do you have anything to say in your defense? Hoo-ha. The animals were angry. That gorilla was, and the tiger was too.
Did you see what the monkey was throwing? How many times has that happened? Like,
Your children threw poo at a monkey. It's meant to be the other way around.
It went both ways. For those watching the monkey, it went both ways.
Oh my god. Also, it's not the gorilla and the tiger who are on trial here. I mean, if you're seriously asking, we could probably find a sign language interpreter, but I can't think of anybody who specializes in big cat. Sorry, Your Honor. Animal law really isn't my area.
You know, there's only one gorilla that knows sign language right. They don't all do that.
Ah, this explains a few things. It's okay, prosecutor. Not everyone can be the infallible like me. I truly am the suppository of all wisdom. Okay, I thought it was a typo at the first one, but nah, I read the second one. It's not a typo. Prosecutor, you seem a bit flustered.
Maybe it's the suppository of knowledge.
To be honest, I'm a bit worried you're silence, criminal! Now stop being silent and tell me why my next exhibit is set underwater. Well, to be honest, we were kinda running out of ideas. Wherever we've gone on land, dangerous animals have tried to kill, eat, capture, or hunt us, so we figured we'd try leaving the land entirely. Plus, we've always wanted to try scuba diving.
No, we haven't. We really haven't. Anyway, we had to finish the Bahamas on a business trip as a matter of urgency. Like, we had some money over there and we got a fence to goods for the governor. Anyway, we had to visit the Bahamas on a business trip as a matter of urgency.
Good spot for it. I'm most intrigued by this one. Roll the tape!
Stop. Next level.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we just watch you loot a shipwreck? Can I plead the fifth? We literally had this conversation. No, Australia doesn't have that. Oh, God damn it! Why are we predicting this game's writing every freaking time? This is Australia. Oh, sorry. This is Australia. There is no fifth. That's definitely an American thing. Loot a shipwreck and carry off dozens of potentially priceless relics in your pocket?
We needed the gold bullion. Apparently, the man that our accountant knows insists on being paid that way.
Oh, it just keeps getting better.
And he keeps a straight face the whole time.
You seriously need a new accountant. Also, I swear you managed to find the only still functioning sea mines in the entire Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean, so they're on the East Coast?
They were in Melbourne.
They were in Melbourne. You've certainly got a knack for finding unusual sources of trouble.
No, our bloody kids do.
You know, I can't argue with you there. Your Honor, this is getting ridiculous. There is a ream of evidence as long as my arm here, and they've made no attempt to refute any of the allegations. Is there anything more I can say? Surely the jury can make a decision now. You've run out of footage, haven't you? I don't see what that has to do with it. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what more can I say about the reckless abandon perpetrated by the defendant? They are irresponsible, dangerous, immature, bad at cooking, excuse me, and most important of all, they are terrible parents. No child would be safe under their care. How many kids did they lose during the footage we just reviewed? 5, 10, 58? Ladies and gentlemen, Your Honor, I insist that on the following charges, 2 counts of gross parental negligence, 438 counts of regular parental negligence, 12 counts of manslaughter.
Okay, so 12 kids died?
5 counts of destruction of property. Retro Franco has 4 arms. Oh my god. 1 count each of loitering, jaywalking, public nuisance, and flying aircraft without a license. Good callback, good callback. Running an illegal underwater dredging operation.
It's not illegal.
And the destruction of London by fire in 1666. The defendants be found guilty. Hear, hear.
Thank you, Your Honor. We shall retire to make our decision.
Oh, I just love this bit, don't you? They go away, I count down, then they come back and give out the verdict. It's like hide and seek, but with more sentencing. That's your line.
Are you talking to us?
Your Batman voice. No, I mean, yes. Definitely that. Batman or Zoidberg. Next one we see. Charlinator's off to lurk mode. All right. Okay, everyone, time's up. You can come back now. Have you reached a verdict? All right.
We have, Your Honor.
On the many, many charges laid against the parents, do you find them guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Guilty! Oh my god.
We're going to hell?
What? Holy shit! What is this game?
We find the human race.
Oh my god.
I'm an Australian Batman.
Bogan Batman?
You're still the judge.
Oh, I'm still the judge. Terribly sorry for the subterfuge and all of this. We represent Sunnydale Galactic, what your planet would call a tourism agency. It just so happens we're roughly the same height as your human children. Oh my god! So we were planning on stealthily replacing some with paying clients for our rustic Earth vacation package. See the sights whilst being waited on hand and foot by the unsuspecting parents.
That voice is the worst, Boomati.
Unfortunately, you're also utterly incompetent at parenting that our clients just wouldn't be safe in your hands. The Earth is too pretty to pass up on as a destination, so we've decided to wipe everyone out and run the joint ourselves. You're a monster! No, I'm clearly an alien! Goodness, you humans really aren't very perceptive. Terribly sorry for the inconvenience and your impending vaporization, but it's really just business. I've rather enjoyed this little charade. I think I might just keep the wig. What the? What is going on?
Action Ninja!
Not on my watch! Are you serious? Is this a Phoenix Wright moment?
He just shot the judge.
He just shot the judge.
Shot the shit.
Mysterious alien. You have a crack at that one. All right, Squeaky, go, buddy, go.
Relax, folks. I'm Ob from the Intergalactic Consumer Rights Watchdog, and I've got some hardcore auditing to do.
Oh my god. Aren't you a little short to be a
First of all, rude. Second of all, that was really not the time. We've been on these guys' trail for years over misleading and dangerous packaging deals, and now we know why.
Booney's right. This is a bloody roller coaster.
Honestly, tricking primitive species into being tour guides, that's just irresponsible. Nothing to do but liquidate their assets and rescue you all. You are human, right?
I think so. Oh, that's you, sorry.
I think so. Also, liquidate their assets.
Okay.
Blow the ship sky high and gave it as a tax write-off. I get paid commission on demolition jobs.
Oh my God.
The Intergalactic Railway is ready for our daring escape. You're my first passenger, so there might be a few kinks.
Oh. What kind of kinks that we need?
You know, the usual budget cuts, automated laser defense grid, nothing to worry about. All aboard the Ob Express train to freedom.
Oh my God.
Express train.
Sorry, escape pod. My human Facebook is a bit out of date.
You've got Monty Python on the brain tonight.
I do.
Okay, it's nearly 40 years old.
It's out of date. Escape pod is just down the tunnel. We need to get to the control room and launch it before this place blows sky high.
That is like the most South African high squeaky voice I've heard in ages.